Welcome back to SwitchCorner. My name is Alex and today we're going to be taking a look at the limited run games event that took place at E3, and I want to take a look basically at the new Switch announcements and whether they're going to earn my cash. So with that, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here, join our growing family, and let's get started. So today, thanks to RWBY, who put on what I've got to call one of the better E3 conferences so far this year, we actually got 20 new announcements. 11, they are games that are available already digitally, so we can kind of break those down. I can give you an idea of what they're all about, what I think about them, and then there's also 10 upcoming releases with a fair few exciting ones in there. I'm at this stage though where I did used to collect everything from RWBY, then it just got way too quick for me, so I kind of backed off, and now I'm at this place where I'm super picky. So let me know your top picks for physical from this collection below. For me though, it's got to do something special to earn that cash. So let's start with the 11 that are digitally available already, and I think it's fair to say Contra Anniversary Edition was kind of the big one, but also an obvious one given the recent release of the Castlevania Anniversary Collection by them. This was going to be the next obvious follow-up, bringing together though 10 titles across different regions. This is just classic run and gun action that supports up to 2 players, and yeah, I mean look, retro fans, you're probably with me on this one that it's an easy decision to spend your cash here. Double Dragon and Kunio Retro Brawler bundle then is one I reviewed here on the channel, and Double Dragon is for sure a classic. The issue I had with the digital release with this one, way too expensive. 40 bucks for this collection of 18 games just didn't quite sit right with me. Now look, I'm cool with this one honestly if they keep the price point right around here, but I have this fear because physical normally dictates a price hike that they're going to come in around 60 bucks for an asking price here, and I just don't think I'm going to be cool with that. The average price for an LRG release typically 40 or so I'm kind of still holding out hope here, but yeah, this one for me as it stands, it's very much price dependent. Going Under then, I did not expect to see published by Team 17. They tend to roll with retail releases themselves, not limited, so I figured this would be the case for this one, they'd go that direction. It's actually a great game honestly, a surprise hit for me, and it's an entry level almost think roguelite as you enter this surreal world of almost think deck collection. The idea basically when a startup fails, it actually sinks into the ground, and now you must dive into what have basically become dungeons and reclaim possessions and make some cash. I liked it a lot, but I don't think I liked it enough honestly to pick it up physically. Haven then, and you can count me in immediately for this. It's from the Game Bakers, it's the team behind the masterpiece that is Fury. I have the LRG release of that, the collector's edition, one of my favourite pieces in my collection. Here though, with this game, they actually moved away from the hard as hell boss rush gameplay to a chilled exploration adventure all about love with some minor RPG elements, telling the tale of 2 though on the run. They basically seem to be on the run from this almost oppressive government, and I just loved the overall theme and I loved the visual style. On Switch though, I will say it had a few performance issues and crashes actually, but hopefully they get all of that kind of ironed out before this drops. They can actually just take my cash now though, I'm definitely buying this one. Huntdown then is actually an interesting release. They kind of penned it as a true limited release, meaning there's actually a copy of Counts here, 1800 in this case, unlike the rest of the games that appeared to be they're more open window pre-orders. It's a great run and gun game first of all. I'll link my review again down below. It's basically a modern spin on Contra set in this dystopian future. Has similarities almost to The Warriors for anyone that's old enough to have seen that movie. You know, badass characters, good gameplay, all about gangs, solid pixel work. My issue here is the collector's edition you're seeing on a limited run, it's coming in at 80 bucks. There's no way I'm paying that as much as I want it honestly. No guarantees though, but the rumours, they're circulating that the devs have confirmed a standard edition that will follow with, I guess, actually a retail release, so I'm actually going to hold out for that. I think they should have probably mentioned that in the conference though, if it is true. What I'm saying here though is, do not panic buy just because it has a count number attached. One Step from Eden then was a great one to see that absolutely deserves a physical release. It's a roguelike game with real-time action and card deck elements as well, and I was a fan of this one on release, but it kind of seemed to drop to very little, fanfare. Set in a post-apocalyptic world though, you're out to simply reach the title Eden. How you get there, it depends on your gameplay style. I'll pick this one up though mainly because it's just a team I really want to support, and I hope they find a ton of success from it, and also a growing fan base, because this game not only deserves it, but I really want to see a sequel. Retromania Wrestling then, it dropped a couple of months back. I reviewed it on the channel. It's absolutely decent. It's a spiritual sequel to WrestleFest, so for sure, you know, old school. It even then throws in YouTubers into the audience, things like RGT, Beat 'em Ups, Pixel Game Squad. Physical wise, I can't actually make a call on this one just yet because on release, it was not the full roster yet, the story wasn't finished at all, and they had a ton of updates and kind of like a roadmap for this next year. I guess this is going to be towards the tail end of the year for that reason, but it's just not really feasible to make a call on whether it's going to be worth your cash until we know how all that extra content, you know, pans out. I will be watching it though. It's for sure got a very good starting point. RWBY, Grimm, Eclipse then, and how no am I spending my cash on this? I think collectible wise, it's got a good shot at being a sought after release in the future, you know, just down to the source material itself. But the game, I was sent a review copy and I still haven't actually got around to covering it on the channel. I will get to that. But it's all basically very average and it lasts maybe 3 to 4 hours at a push. There is a little bit of replayability, but nothing worth their asking price. I also think they're going to be pricing this honestly at AAA because on the eShop it's $40 already. I honestly wouldn't suggest paying that for it in the first place, never mind something higher. It's largely though just running around an empty world with a relatively low impact storyline and some minor hack and slash gameplay. Strife is next up then, and this is the only one I haven't played that's on the eShop already, so I can't comment on it. It's an old school retro shooter though. It's already on my wish list. In fact, do want to check it out in the future because honestly it's kind of a classic game and I hear very good things about this port. Will I buy it? Maybe, mainly because I like to collect the old school like shooters, you know, think your Dooms and Project Warlock, which came from Super Rare Games, and no doubt this one would probably look really nice on the shelf next to them. Superhot then is a game I sing the praise of a whole lot here on the channel, and yes, this is an absolute buy for me. I like to talk about this in deals videos, but the gameplay is just stunning. It started as this VR title and made its way to a normal output, but the idea, it's a first-person shooter, but time only accelerates if you move, so it's almost a puzzle game at the same time where you've got to be super aware of your enemy placement and bullet trajectory. It looks stunning as well then though, the visual style is super clean, and yeah, this was a big surprise that I'm super happy to see. If any game deserved a physical release on today's list, then for me it's got to be the TakeOver. It's another one I big up every opportunity that I do get. It released right around Streets of Rage 4, instantly got named a cheap copycat. It was influenced by Streets of Rage, yes, but this game had been in production and development for absolute years. There's no way it was copying Streets of Rage 4. It just deserves attention. It's just a blast from beginning to end. Really strong visuals, a simplistic but fun story, and just good action, including some kind of twist to the usual standard you would expect. Can't wait to get this one myself, and it's probably, as I said, the most hyped I am about any of these announcements. For me, this game just deserves the love, and hopefully this is its kind of opportunity now to get its name out there. So that's all the games then available on the Switch already digitally that we can talk about, but now let's take a quick look at all the upcoming releases which are yet to hit digital, or they were even brand new announcements of games we had no idea were coming. We're going to keep this part of the video a little bit more, you know, quick fire, but first Axiom Verge 2, an obvious one honestly. They picked up the first game, the dev actually got screwed by the original publisher. RWBY, they stepped in and essentially saved him, and they had my instant respect for this single act alone. You know, this was almost a life-changing moment for the guy behind this game. Also, that first game is a masterpiece of a Metroidvania and probably a 10 out of 10 for me personally. BloodRayne Betrayal, fresh bites then. It's not the BloodRayne I wanted, but it's good to see the name back still. Never played this one personally. It was actually a PS3 game. Very average reviews out there, if I kind of what I'm digging up, but I do know Arc System Works published it in Japan. That absolutely gives me a little bit of faith in this one. I'll definitely be checking it out. DUSK now, and I'm psyched for this one. So far Steam, that's the only release it's seen, but it has a rating of 10 out of 10 from 12,000 reviews. That is seriously like impressive. There's very few bad words against this one. I couldn't find pretty much any. A retro styled first person shooter though, I was in at that point, and hopefully this can be that next great, you know, retro throwback with a solid port on the Switch. 60 frames per second though, that would be real nice as well. Zombies Ate My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol then, and I never played Ghoul Patrol, so I can't really comment on that one, but I loved Zombies, and I actually still own my physical copy on the SNES. These actually drop later in the month. I'm really hopeful they're going to be good ports. If so, this will easily be a day one buy for me. It's even getting though like physical SNES releases from Limited Run as well on 2 separate cartridges. I'd be lying if I didn't say I was tempted by them. Sadly though, they're asking $90 each or $180 for the 2, and that's a whole lot of cash that I'm not sure I'm going to be willing to part with. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties then, and honestly I thought this was just kind of a skit segmented joke. I had no idea this was a real thing, but it's an adult romantic comedy dating sim. Not for me this one, but it seems it has actually this cult following, and yeah, it's probably going to be collector's gold as soon as it releases and gets kind of deleted from the website. Republique Anniversary Edition is a game I'm really excited to check out, and the reviews are decent for this one as well. It's a stealth adventure all set around this theme of government surveillance. Releasing from what I know originally on iOS and Android, it kind of eventually found its way to pretty much everything it seems, but the Switch of course. But yeah, it's about time this one dropped, and it's been long rumoured as well. I hear as well this one has great touch controls, and I'm a sucker for stealth games, so I have very high hopes for this one, and hopefully I'll be able to cover this one on the channel and give you some good news. So we're into the final 3 games then, and I'm bundling the first 2 together. Probably the most exciting announcement today for me, that is River City Girls 0, and particularly the announcement of the sequel simply titled River City Girls 2. River City Girls is a small piece of genius, highly sought after now as well from LRG's back catalogue, and basically that's because if you try and get it, you're looking at probably $100 minimum, I would say. It is though a side-scrolling brawler and more expensive than most even in digital form, but it's longer than most as well. It has a ton of depth to it, and that's thanks to almost think RPG like mechanics for like progression and development. So psyched for both of these though, and Zero, for those that don't know, that was a Super Famicom release from 1994 which is maintaining its 16-bit visuals but then throwing in an anime opening, manga cutscenes and new music. Our final game of the video, then a long overdue release this one, but SkateBIRD. So yes, it's Tony Hawk with birds, and this trailer today gave us a little bit of extra insight. I felt I really liked the look of what it's showing us as well. It showed conversations taking place, so no doubt that's kind of a story mode or missions. And yeah, the world looks really interesting. I'm weirdly excited for this one. Not sure it will be physically worth it honestly, but I'll absolutely be there August 12th for the digital release, and hopefully it's like unique characters don't take away from an addictive skateboarding formula. I want that to be bonus, but I don't want it to be the focus of the game. I want it to have a really good system in place. And that's LRG, and honestly, this far for Switch, it's probably one of the strongest showings with the trademark, limited run games humor, but just their passion for games from a ton of different genres. They really have this great eye for gems, and it seems that's going to be the same in 2021 through 2022. Which ones are you excited for, and which will be earning your cash? Let me know that in the comments down below. With that then, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. If you do want to check that out for yourself, I've linked that in the video description down below. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.